Hello, I want to talk about Cascamite. I don't know if you're aware, but there is another glue, other than the usual Type Bond and Gorilla Glue, whatever PVAs. There's Aerolite, and then you've got Cascamite. Now Cascamite is a powdered resin wood glue, and which is a urea formaldehyde glue, which is actually a carcinogen. So you do need to make sure you wear that, or just paint mask will do, N95 or something like that. And no, you don't need those. But that's for safety specs. Good idea as well. Because you don't want the powder getting in your eyes or down into your lungs. But I had a comment on a previous Cascamite video saying they're having problems mixing it because it seems to have changed. And I happen to agree. I've just opened a new batch of Cascamite because I buy it in like 20 or 25 kilo sacks, big sacks, and then I decant it into a container, a nice dry container. In this case, Crine de Farm Bamboo Son. So basically, it's bubble bath en français. So I decant it in that, then I mix it into shallow yogurt pots, and yeah, it works a treat. It's still fine, but what I found is it takes a little bit longer for the powder to become dissolved by the water. Now, before that was much faster. It wasn't that quick anyway, but it's even a little bit slow. It feels gritty as you're mixing it, but it does actually mix into a nice creamy consistency, as you can see here. It's still absolutely fine. It just takes a little bit longer to dissolve. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's been not ground quite so fine as it would have been before. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to mix it. So this powdered resin wood glue, hence what I've got in here, and that's Cascamite. I do it back to front, by the way. I don't actually put the water in and add the powder to the water as they tell you in the instructions, because I find I get more failure that way. I find it kind of separates, and a bit like if you're adding flour to water, how hard you mix it just doesn't seem to want to mix. Not every time, but I feel I'm at more risk of error or problems with it anyway. So what I do is I put my powdered resin in the tub first, my resin powder in the tub first, my Cascamite, and then I add water slowly to the powder. So here we go, I've got the powder in there, and I use this because it's quite easy to, you squeeze it basically, and you just screw a bit of moisture in there, but I don't put too much in at a time. What I'm kind of trying to do is create like a cottage cheese. Don't eat it because that wouldn't be very nice. That might get dry and get stuck in your throat. Won't be that great. So I'm gently kind of like turning it over, a bit like baking a cake or baking bread, I suppose. I've asked Mrs. about one. She does make a good cake, I have to say. So what I'm doing is I'm sort of turning it in, and it sort of goes lumpy, sort of like a powdery lumpiness to it, like you're either kneading flour and butter. And then I add a little bit more. And what you got to be careful is you don't add too much water straight away. By the way, oh yeah, that's water in there. So it's ordinary water. In fact, it's actually rainwater. I've got a butt at the back there from the roof, and it seems to work quite well. So you're not going to get chlorine in it. I don't want chlorine in it. I don't know if it makes any difference, but I don't want the chlorine in it. But as I add it in, as you can see, it's becoming more and more paste-like. So it's holding together. This possibly doesn't actually need any more water. You'd think it would, but it doesn't. The more you mix it, the more fluid it becomes. So you just keep, stirring away and working, and you'll find it will become more and more fluid. But to start with, I'm finding it's a little bit, how to put it, a bit powdery still. It hasn't absorbed the moisture. It hasn't got this nice, what you call, well, it's like a gloss. It sort of has a glossy shine to it. A bit like my locks. It has a glossy shine. At the moment, it doesn't. It's more dull and matte, and that's because the actual powder hasn't fully absorbed yet. And I just carry on mixing, or I set it to one side and allow that to absorb until it's ready. Such as this one. Here's one I prepared earlier, Blue Peter style. If you're English and from my area, you'll know what I'm talking about. Is Blue Peter still running? I don't know. Might be, might not. Who knows? But anyway, that's how I mix my powdered resin wood glue, and I'll apply that just like I would do any other glue. I wouldn't necessarily use spreading bottles and stuff like that, because when this stuff goes off, it's very brittle, and I'll just clog everything. And also cleaning up with Cascamite in glue bottles, what have you, is quite difficult, because once it starts setting, trying to add water to it to wash it away or wash the bottles out, it just doesn't work. It's just pretty much impossible. So I don't bother. So I just use, if I've got parts of that, I'll use a stick like that, or if I've got a flat area to apply glue to, I will use a wallpaper jointing roller. I think it's a jointing roller. Anyway, it's for wallpapering anyway. So and basically what I do is I wrap a bit of tape around it. I don't know if you can see it, a little black line, but that's actually insulation tape, the electrical tape that I've wrapped around there, and then I use that to spread the glue. That works really well for that. And whenever this bit gets a bit kind of too lumpy and built up with glue, I then just cut it off and put some more resin and start again. And that way I don't ruin the roller. So anyway, that is my Cascamite powdered resin wood glue. So if you've got a new batch and you're worried that it's not actually mixing very well, don't worry. You just have to give it a little bit more time for some reason, and I don't know why that is. I don't know what changes they've made. Maybe I should contact them and ask them. But as you see there it now has a gloss. That's just because I've left it and getting a little bit more mixing. So it's no longer gritty. It's now actually quite usable. So yeah, it's still good stuff, and I like it. You can use this obviously for gluing wood together. It's very brittle timber, so if you've got any jobs where it requires flexibility, I don't recommend this. I don't know if you make longbows or something like that. It won't be a very good idea, I don't think. But you can use this glue also as a filler. So you can, if you have a fine powder, sawdust powder, whatever, you can add into this, and it makes a really good sanding, an easy to sand filler. Very hard, but also very brittle. It does shrink also, like any filler does anyway, but it does shrink. But it is very easy to sand to get a finish. Not if you want, obviously, add any dyes to it that have to soak into the timber. If it's sitting on top, it's not a problem. But if you add dyes into try to add dyes to it, it just won't accept it because effectively it's a plastic, so I'll just resist. Anyway, I hope you like my little video of my Cascamite powdered resin wood glue. And if you're most kind, give us like and subscribe and what have you, and maybe click the little bell icon because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket, and we'll be uploading